Hey, basketball fans, welcome back to Tips and Streams, your go-to spot for the hottest NBA regular season predictions. I'm Kokan, and I'm here to break down today's matchups and give you the edge you need to make the best bets. Before we dive in, make sure you hit that subscribe button and like this video. Your support means the world to us. Remember, our channel has no sponsors and relies solely on the love and support of viewers like you. Even a small donation by pressing the thanks button under the video helps us keep bringing you top-notch content every day. Don't forget to share this video with your friends and fellow basketball enthusiasts. And we love hearing from you, so drop a comment below and let us know what you want to see in our forecasts. Your feedback helps us improve and bring you the content you crave. Let's jump right into today's NBA predictions. We've got some exciting games lined up, so stay tuned and let's get that winning streak going. Today we have predictions for 6 NBA games. The first prediction for today is for a game between the Houston Rockets and Philadelphia 76ers. The Rockets roll into Philly with momentum on their side, ready to square off against a 76ers squad that's been stuck in the mud this season. Houston's off to a promising 12-6 start, surprising a lot of folks with their balanced play, but they're looking to shake off the sting of a weekend loss to the Trailblazers. Meanwhile, the Sixers, sitting at a grim 3-13, are dealing with a laundry list of problems, from injuries to shaky performances and everything in between. Houston's been one of those feel-good stories so far, with their defense setting the tone, and guys like Alperen Sengun stepping up big. Sengun's been a steady hand on offense, and Amen Thompson is starting to make his mark as a spark plug off the bench. Even so, they're not without flaws. Their offense is middle of the pack in scoring, but their shooting splits are a concern. They're near the bottom in field goal and three-point efficiency. On the other end, though, they've been lights out, ranking top 3 in scoring defense and rebounding like there's no tomorrow, leading the league in cleaning up the glass. But let's keep it real, this game isn't exactly straightforward. The Rockets are coming off a back-to-back, having just tangled with the Timberwolves, and their road record is nothing to write home about. They're a beast at home, but away from Houston, they're just 4-4. Back-to-backs test your legs and your bench, and Houston leans pretty heavily on their core guys. Fatigue could creep in. As for Philly, it's been a nightmare season. Injuries have hammered them, and consistency's been non-existent. Joel Embiid and Paul George are both iffy for this game, and their absence was glaring in their last outing, a blowout loss to the Clippers where LA had no trouble carving up their defense. When it comes to scoring, the Sixers rank decently, but their efficiency, ugly. We're talking bottom of the barrel in shooting percentages. They do force turnovers at a high clip, but their rebounding, or lack thereof, kills them, leaving them dead last in the league on the boards. This matchup hinges on a lot of question marks. If Embiid and George sit, Philly's already slim chances drop even further. And if they do play, how much impact can they really have if they're not 100%? On the flip side, Houston has to fight through tired legs and shake off their road woes. Their defensive grit and dominance on the glass should give them the upper hand, but if their shooting doesn't improve and the travel takes a toll, this one could get interesting. I get it, this might seem like a bit of a curveball, but I'm rolling with the Sixers here. The Rockets are on the second leg of a back-to-back, and they've been far from impressive in those spots this season. Out of the 4 back-to-backs they've played so far, they've only managed 1 win, and that was against the Wizards at home. Not exactly a glowing endorsement for their stamina. Even more telling is their track record against Philly. In their last 10 head-to-head matchups, the Rockets only snagged 2 wins and managed to cover the spread in 3 of those. And when they've had to visit Philadelphia, it's been all downhill, 5 straight losses, and they've only covered the spread once in that stretch. Now, I'm not saying the Sixers are the most trustworthy squad out there. They've got their flaws, no doubt. But they're coming into this game rested, they're playing on their home floor, and all the recent trends, from Houston's back-to-back struggles to the head-to-head history, point toward Philly covering the spread. I'm expecting a grind, but I believe the Sixers can cover the 5.5-point spread in this one. The second prediction for today is for a game between the New York Knicks and Dallas Mavericks. The Mavericks and Knicks face off tonight in what promises to be an entertaining showdown of 2 teams that have been lighting it up offensively. Dallas, despite missing their superstar Luka Doncic, has found a way to stay competitive and even impressive, while New York, with Karl Anthony Towns now in the fold, has taken a big leap on the scoring front. Let's break down why this matchup has all the ingredients for a barn burner. New York's offense this season has been a revelation. With Towns and Jalen Brunson leading the charge, the Knicks are pouring in 120.9 points per 100 possessions, the second best mark in the league. That's right, they're even outscoring the reigning champs, the Boston Celtics. It's wild to think about, especially for a team coached by Tom Thibodeau, who's usually all about defense. But this year, not so much. The Knicks are down at 21st in defensive rating, giving up 115.7 points per 100 possessions. You could say it's uncharacteristic for a Thibs-led squad, but hey, if you're outscoring opponents, who's complaining? What's keeping the Knicks in the mix despite their defensive lapses is their ability to protect the ball and make the right plays. They're leading the league in assist-to-turnover ratio and rarely cough it up. Add Josh Hart into the equation, a guy pulling down nearly 9 boards a game and doing a little bit of everything offensively, and you've got a squad that's tough to stop when they're rolling. But the big question for them is whether their defense can step up in key moments, especially without Mitchell Robinson anchoring the paint. Dallas, on the other hand, has shown incredible grit without Luka. It's tough losing a player of his caliber, but the Mavs have found ways to win, including an eye-popping road victory against the Nuggets. That game was all about team effort, with 7 players hitting double figures. Najee Marshall has been a standout, playing the best basketball of his career lately. The guy dropped a career-high 26 against Denver and followed it up with 20 against Miami. PJ Washington is another name to watch. He's been on fire, scoring 20-plus in 3 straight games. Jason Kidd's squad has also gotten a boost with their big men back in rotation. Derek Lively III and Daniel Gafford provide some much-needed presence in the paint, and with Kyrie Irving and Klay Thompson running the backcourt, there's plenty of firepower to go around. What makes Dallas so dangerous is their balance. They're sitting in the top 10 in both offense and defense, which is no small feat, and while they've had their share of close losses, 7 games decided by less than 8 points, they're learning how to close out games without their franchise cornerstone. That speaks volumes about their depth and ability to adapt. This game is going to hinge on a few key things. For the Knicks, stopping Kyrie Irving is priority number 1. With Luka out, he's the guy orchestrating the offense, and if they can disrupt him, they'll have a good shot. Rebounding is another area to watch. The Knicks have Hart crashing the glass, but the Mavs now have their bigs back, so that battle in the paint will be crucial. Dallas, on the other hand, might want to speed things up. The Knicks play at one of the slowest paces in the league, so if the Mavs can push the tempo, they could catch New York off guard. Both teams are coming in hot. The Knicks have won 7 of their last 10 and just dropped 145 points on Denver, yes, in Denver. That's no small feat, but the Mavericks have quietly been grinding out wins too, taking 5 of their last 6. Even without Luka, they've been finding ways to get it done, and that speaks to the character of this team. Personally, I'm leaning toward Dallas tonight. New York has been impressive, no doubt, but the Mavs at home, with the way they've been playing, just feel like the smarter pick. They've shown they can handle adversity and step up when it matters. I think the Knicks' road inconsistencies might come back to bite them here. Give me the Mavericks to not only cover the spread, but take this one outright. This Dallas team is figuring it out, and I'm not betting against them in this spot.
Welcome to BetUS, Sportsbook and Casino, your ultimate hub for secure and thrilling sports betting and casino gaming. BetUS is one of the oldest and most reliable online sportsbooks in the U.S., serving millions of clients all over the globe each month. BetUS, trusted for over 30 years, offers huge welcome bonuses, countless betting options, and many deposit and payout methods. Depositing funds is a breeze and safe, with a minimum deposit of just $10. Payouts are fast and hassle-free, beginning at only $50. Choose from various payout options like MoneyGram, Couriered Check, cryptocurrency, or Bankwire. Signing up is quick and easy. For signing up, you can use the link in the description and enjoy a generous 125% welcome bonus of up to $3,000. By signing up using the link in the description, you'll also support us as we earn a small commission from your registration at BetUS. Thank you for supporting us. Join now and start winning.
The third prediction for today is for a game between the Los Angeles Lakers and San Antonio Spurs. The Lakers are rolling into San Antonio to face the Spurs, and this one has the makings of a gritty battle. Both squads are fresh off games in the in-season tournament, so there's definitely an element of fatigue and quick adjustments in play here. The Lakers, sitting at 10-6, have shown they can put up points in bunches, averaging 116.4 per game. That's top 10 in the league, and for good reason. They're shooting 48.2% from the field and knocking down 37.5% from deep. Those numbers are no joke, and when you add in the fact that they get to the line more than anyone else in the league, it's clear why their offense has been cooking. If they stay in that groove, they'll be tough to beat. When these two met earlier, the Lakers squeezed out a 5-point win, putting up 120 points in the process. They shot the lights out, hitting 50% of their shots and an even more ridiculous 45.2% from 3. Plus, they only coughed the ball up 10 times, which is a huge win when you're up against a defense like San Antonio's. Anthony Davis was an absolute monster that night, dropping 40 points and looking like he couldn't be stopped. Right now, AD is carrying the squad with 30.1 points and 11.1 boards a night, and LeBron is still doing LeBron things, putting up 23.6 points and dishing out 9.1 assists. With those two leading the charge, the Lakers always have a shot. The Spurs, though, aren't pushovers. They're coming in hot, riding a 4-game winning streak and looking like a team that's starting to figure it out. They've taken down some big names recently, including the Thunder and the Warriors, and they've done it with defense. San Antonio has been locking teams down, allowing the 5th fewest points in the league and holding opponents to one of the lowest shooting percentages in the NBA. Over their last few games, they've kept teams under 105 points twice, which is impressive in today's high-scoring league. Victor Wembanyama is a matchup nightmare, plain and simple. The kid's length, shooting touch, and defensive instincts make him a game-changer on both ends of the floor. If the Spurs are going to extend their streak, they'll need him to step up big time, especially in the paint. The Lakers love to attack inside, so controlling that area will be key for San Antonio. They'll also need to keep their discipline, avoid fouls, and make the most of their opportunities on offense. This is a tricky spot for both teams. Back-to-backs are always tough, and with the travel on top of it, you've got to think about how fatigue might play a role. The Spurs, being a younger squad, might have the legs to handle it better, but the Lakers' experience can't be overlooked. They've been inconsistent lately, great during their 6-game win streak, but then stumbling against teams like Orlando and Denver. It's hard to know which version of the Lakers will show up. That said, I'm leaning toward the Lakers to pull this one out. With the spread so tight, I think their star power will be the difference. Davis and LeBron are playing at such a high level that it's hard to bet against them, even with the Spurs riding a hot streak. It won't be easy, but I see the Lakers covering and grinding out a win. Before we move on, I have a quick favor to ask. If you're enjoying the content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Subscribing might seem like a small action, but it actually makes a big impact for us. Plus, it's completely free for you. Have you clicked that subscribe button? Awesome, thank you so much for your support. Now let's dive back into the video. The fourth prediction for today is for a game between the Brooklyn Nets and Phoenix Suns. Alright, so we've got the Phoenix Suns hosting the Brooklyn Nets, and there's a lot to unpack here. The Nets are coming in hot, fresh off 2 big wins against legit competition. Beating the Kings and Warriors back-to-back is no joke, and Brooklyn's looking sharp right now. They've been hitting their shots, shooting close to 49% from the field and over 40% from downtown in those games. Plus, they've been aggressive, getting to the line nearly 28 times a game, while keeping turnovers super low at just over 11 per contest. That's the kind of disciplined basketball that makes them a tough out, especially when they're feeling this confident. Now, the Suns, on the other hand, are in a tricky spot. They've been struggling, losing 5 straight before their Tuesday night clash with the Lakers. And let's be real, those weren't pretty losses either. Just one of them was even close. They've been putting up only 105 points a game during that skid and shooting a shaky 42.6%. Sure, Kevin Durant came back against the Lakers and Bradley Beal joined him, but the question is, how much gas will they have left for this back-to-back? I mean, you're asking 2 stars who've been nursing injuries to turn it around in less than 24 hours. That's a tall order, even for a team as talented as Phoenix. The Nets' defense isn't exactly locked down. They're letting teams shoot nearly 48% from the field and 37% from 3, but can the Suns take advantage? Devin Booker's gonna need to step up big time, and he's capable of it. The dude's putting up over 24 points a game, and you know he's always ready to make something happen. But if Durant and Beal aren't at full strength or see limited minutes, it's hard to imagine Booker carrying this team all by himself, especially against a Brooklyn squad that's been scrappy and resilient. On the flip side, the Nets are missing Cam Thomas, and that's a major blow. He's their top scorer at 24.7 points a night, and without him, Brooklyn's offense has to find other ways to click. They barely squeaked past the Hornets without him, and let's be honest, the Hornets aren't exactly world beaters. So, while Brooklyn's riding high, they've got their own issues to deal with. The thing is, Brooklyn's been absolute gold for bettors this season. They're 12-5-1 against the spread, and they've been cashing tickets like crazy, especially as underdogs. Meanwhile, the Suns have been brutal as home favorites, covering the spread less than 37% of the time since the last season. That's a red flag if you're leaning towards Phoenix, especially in a game where fatigue could play a big factor. I'm rolling with the Nets to cover here. They've got the momentum, they're gritty in the underdog role, and they've shown they can hang with the big boys. The Suns might pull out the win if Durant and Beal both play significant minutes, but I wouldn't bank on them blowing Brooklyn out. The Nets are too good at keeping things close, and until they stop covering spreads, I'm riding the wave. Give me the Nets plus 9.5 to keep it competitive. The fifth prediction for today is for a game between the Denver Nuggets and Utah Jazz. Alright, let's dive into this intriguing clash between the Nuggets and the Jazz, set to go down in Salt Lake City. Denver might be rolling in as the reigning Western Conference champs, but they've been far from convincing to start the season. It's been a roller coaster for them, alternating between wins and losses, and you have to wonder if they've really found their rhythm yet. Sure, Nikola Jokic is still out there doing his MVP thing, dropping 29.7 points, snagging boards, and dishing dimes like it's nothing, but where's the consistency from the rest of the squad? Jamal Murray, for one, hasn't quite hit his stride, and while Michael Porter Jr. and Aaron Gordon have had their moments, they need to step it up if this team is going to shake off that inconsistency. The Nuggets' offense is as smooth as ever, no doubt about it. They're putting up 117.5 points per game and shooting lights out, especially from beyond the arc, where they're hitting over 39%. But let's be real, offense can only take you so far when your defense is leaking like a sieve. They're giving up 116.6 points a game, and that's a problem, especially when you're trying to build momentum early in the season. That beatdown from the Knicks where they got lit up for 143 points? Yeah, that's not the kind of performance you can brush off easily. Even with a guy like Jokic leading the charge, you've got to wonder if this team has the defensive chops to back up their offensive firepower. Now, flipping to the Jazz, this team's got plenty of talent, but man, has it been a rough start for them. Sitting at 4-12, they're struggling to find any real traction. Injuries haven't helped. Jordan Clarkson being out with that nadding plantar fasciitis issue is a major blow, and it looks like he'll be sidelined for a while. That said, getting Lauri Markkanen back is huge. He's the guy that makes this team go, leading them with 19.9 points per game, and his presence lifts everyone else on the roster. Throw in John Collins' athleticism and Keone George's playmaking, and you've got a squad that has the tools to compete if they can put it all together. The thing with Utah is they've got balance on offense, which is great, but they've been so up and down it's hard to trust them. They can score, no doubt, but their defense has been a liability, letting opponents shoot nearly 48% from the field and over 36% from deep. That's not going to cut it against a team like Denver that thrives on efficient ball movement and deadly shooting. If the Jazz want to hang in this game, they're going to need to lock in defensively, and someone's going to have to step up to at least try to slow down Jokic. Easier said than done, right? What makes this matchup so interesting is how both teams come in with something to prove. Denver wants to bounce back after that embarrassing loss to New York and remind everyone why they're the champs. Utah, on the other hand, is looking for a signature win to spark some life into their season. The Jazz have been a tough out at home historically, and even though they're still figuring things out, playing in Salt Lake City is never a cakewalk for the opposition. If you're asking me, I think this game is closer than it looks on paper. Denver has the talent to run away with it, sure, but their defensive struggles and inconsistency make me hesitate. Plus, the Jazz have a knack for turning things up a notch at home, and with Markkanen back in the mix, they've got the firepower to make this interesting. I'm leaning toward Utah covering that 10.5-point spread, and honestly, I wouldn't be shocked if they pulled off the upset. Denver's a great team, but Salt Lake City has been a bit of a house of horrors for them, and I'm not convinced they're fully back on track just yet. The sixth prediction for today is for a game between the Oklahoma City Thunder and Golden State Warriors. The Oklahoma City Thunder are rolling into the Bay to take on the Golden State Warriors in what promises to be one of the most exciting matchups this week. Both teams are off to solid starts this season, and there's a lot to unpack here. The Thunder are looking for revenge after dropping their earlier matchup against the Warriors, and they've got every reason to believe they can pull it off this time. Let's start with the Thunder. Even with Chet Holmgren sidelined, this squad has been putting in work. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is playing like an MVP candidate, dropping 29.2 points a night and running the offense with 6.5 assists per game. He's the heart and soul of this team, but he's not doing it alone. Jalen Williams has stepped up, and the Thunder's depth is something special. They've got 5 guys averaging double digits in scoring, which speaks volumes about their balance. They've been lighting up the scoreboard with 115.2 points per game, but the real story is on the other end of the floor. The Thunder's defense has been ridiculous this season. They're giving up just 103.9 points a game, the second best mark in the league, and their opponents are only shooting 42.5% from the field. That's lockdown defense, plain and simple. Even without Holmgren cleaning up the paint, this team doesn't miss a beat. They're scrappy, they're disciplined, and they make you earn every bucket. This team's defensive identity is what makes them so dangerous, and it's why they're legit contenders in the West. But let's not sleep on the Warriors. This is still Steph Curry's show, and when he's on the court, anything can happen. He's been cooking, averaging 22.4 points and 6.5 dimes, and we all know how dangerous he gets when the game's on the line. Andrew Wiggins and Buddy Hield have been solid sidekicks, giving the Warriors some much-needed scoring depth. They're putting up 117.7 points per game, and their three-point shooting has been lights out at 38.1%. That's classic Warriors basketball. Spread the floor, keep the defense on their heels, and let Steph work his magic. Defensively, the Warriors have been better than expected. They're holding teams to 109.9 points per game and keeping opponents to just 31.8% from deep. Kevin Looney has been a beast on the boards, and Draymond Green is still a defensive maestro, doing all the dirty work to keep this team competitive. But here's the thing, this team hasn't looked invincible lately. Back-to-back losses to the Nets and Spurs have raised some eyebrows, and they're showing cracks, especially when the game gets physical. This matchup has all the ingredients for a thriller. On one side, you've got the Thunder, a young, hungry squad with something to prove. On the other, the Warriors, a team loaded with championship pedigree, but maybe starting to show its age. The Thunder are coming in with momentum after a couple of big wins, while the Warriors are trying to shake off a rough patch. And don't forget, OKC hasn't forgotten about that November loss to Golden State. They'll be locked in, looking to settle the score. This feels like a game that'll come down to the wire. The Warriors are tough to beat at home, but the Thunder's defense travels well, and they've been money against the spread this season. My gut says OKC has what it takes to edge this one out. The Thunder have been a cash cow all year, and with their defensive chops and Shai playing at an all-NBA level, I like them not to win only, but to cover a 2-point spread too.